Kickoffs are like first impressions. They can build your confidence, your customers' confidence, and set the tone for the whole project. As a PM, we need to be prepared for the worst and bring out the best. We need to walk into meetings prepared and ready to handle anything. We need to ask all the right questions and not be satisfied with short, non-value added answers. Make sure we understand their expectations, but they need to understand ours. Okay? Preparation is the key to being one step ahead of the game and being the best. You need to know what project success looks like at the beginning and not lose focus of it, period. Remember this, write it down. Put it somewhere where you're going to see it daily. Don't expect everything to be perfect. You will be setting yourself up for pain if you think you can execute projects flawlessly. Number 2, set real expectations. The issue with setting unrealistic expectations for yourself and others is when you don't meet them, you let your team and yourself down. It causes all kinds of unneeded stress and you will eventually lose credibility. Projects will always have some level of uncertainty. They will never be perfect throughout all the phases. It's all in how you prepare yourself ahead of time. Here is a great example on why you should kick a project off right from the start. The construction of the Tower of Pisa started in August of 1173. By 1178, the tower began to lean while construction workers were working the second floor. The issue was loose soil beneath the foundation, which the architects did not consider before they started construction. Funny thing, given that the name Pisa comes from the Greek word marshy land, you would have thought that the architects would have taken the subsoil into account while they are building a very tall bell tower. And guess what? They didn't. Nobody had bothered to check the substrate. Instead of a solid foundation of bedrock, the tower was constructed over the soft, shifting silt of long buried riverbed, and she was sinking fast. By giving the tower a shallow and heavy foundation, Pisa was doomed from the onset. The entire project was now on shaky ground, literally and figuratively. So they stopped work. Now, decades have gone by, and finally in 1272, the project was reinstated. Engineers did a careful examination of the existing structure and found, to their surprise, that during the course of the previous century, the ground had compacted, and now rather than leaning to one direction, it was leaning to the other. And in their mind's eye, this was great news. If the first generation of builders have been effective in countering the northern lean by building taller columns on one side, all they had to do is the same process on the south side. No new construction plan, no need to tear it down and put a new foundation under it. Do what they did before and it will be fine. So off they went, building the columns higher on the one side to offset the other. Another 100 years go by, and finally in 1360, civic leaders initiated a mini project to finish off the top of the tower and take credit for closing the project. By this time, it didn't matter that it was almost 200 years late, millions of lira over budget, and not at all to the specifications. The Tower of Pisa project could be stamped complete and put to bed. Needless to say, the plan did not stand the test of time. Over the next 500 years, the tower sunk deeper and deeper into the soft support on the south side, burying itself over 10 feet into the ground. Go figure. In the 20th century, they had an idea to drill hundreds of holes on the base of the tower where they pumped grout and mortar, trying to balance the entire structure and get it back straight. All this accomplished was create an even heavier base, which was the problem in the first place, and made the tower lean even more than it did before. What's the moral of the story? You are only as good as your foundation, no matter how you try to recover. If you do not do the work up front, you will just be piling on cost and schedule delays, and at the end of the day, you never really will straighten things back out, and you will always be just a little bit crooked.